coming up on The Source.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
And welcome to The Source. We want to be very straight with you that we have been talking for a long time about advocacy. Kobe is here with me today, and we have some guests. We feel that this is a very, very serious matter that is going on. Racism is very real and live in Wilmington, Delaware. We don't want to talk about the state today. We're going to talk about right here in the four quarters of this city, right in the 8th district on the 1800 block of Delaware Avenue. Some crazy stuff has been happening. What we consider to be a noted lawyer is doing some things that is totally ungodly and unright. We're going to take some time and we're going to talk to those who are affected and give you an opportunity to see what African Americans and Latinos have to deal with while being citizens of the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back. Kobe, I am very disheartened and I'm very upset. We often hear of the things that are going on in the community, especially in our poor communities around the city of Wilmington, where they're just treated unfairly, from the Adams Street stuff, and people just don't care. But when I heard about what's going on on the 1800 block of Delaware Avenue, I had this couple who was with us today who basically shared in details of what is going on. It outraged me. Before we get started, I just want to introduce our guests, because in all transparency, we're going to lay it all out and we're going to allow the right people to have to answer the way they need to answer. First, we have Miss Bernice Torres, and with all transparency, her mother is a very, very faithful member of the Zion Fair, and I hope after this show she will be too. And then we also have our brother Eli Torres, who are residents in the 1800 block of Delaware Avenue. We're not going to give any addresses at this point, but we just want to make sure that we introduce them. But Kobe, we've been talking about this whole problem.
We have. And, you know, what we've talked about before is it's a tale of two cities, right? Yeah. There is a tale of the white Wilmington, and then there's the tale of everyone else. And it shouldn't be like that. When I heard about this case, it's a few things that stick out to me. Why aren't the cops doing what they're supposed to be doing? Just because you're powerful and you have an attorney and you're connected, that does not mean you get to follow a different set of rules.
Absolutely.
And no one should be harassed in their house. First point. Everyone works hard for what they have. Absolutely. They work hard to put a roof over their head. And when people take advantage of that and people try to make others feel uncomfortable in the communities they're at, right? That's when things need to change.
Absolutely.
And we know about this. We know that the city of Wilmington has had a long history of trying to exclude people, especially people of color, from certain neighborhoods. And it seems as though that this family here, the Torres family, has two neighbors that still think they're back in the 60s and the 50s.
Yeah, well, and
we're not going to stand for that.
But can I just say, one of the neighbors is a noted lawyer, and you know, with all honesty, she's with the Walson law firm. Her father was the founder, and she's now taking over as the lead principal. And then you have the other lady, and I can't think of her name. What was her name again? Jody, who is one of the lead people who give the what did you call that?
At the Helen Graham Cancer Center.
I hope she's not giving it to African Americans.
Well, here's the thing. We already know that there's huge health disparities in the black community and in the minority community, period, when it comes to health. And it's because we have people like Jody who work in these fields who think and look at us and say, oh, they're just complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're not really in pain. They're not really suffering right now. And then that's why we have such high mortality rates. That's why when it comes to diagnosing things, and trust me, from my family alone, they have to fight and fight and fight, and it may take 6, 7 visits for the doctor to finally come back and say, "Oh, well, you were right." And now you're too far down the stages. They could have caught it at stage 1. You're in stage 4 now.
Yeah, and I think that's what the problem is. So we're gonna get to this story real very straight up, and I just want to let everybody know I have in front of me 5 complaints. 5 different times they allegedly went to the police department, but really was more than 5. Sometimes they didn't get anything because the police just didn't pay them any mind. I have 2 cards here that have nothing on them because the police didn't even dignify by putting their name on it or the information or a case number. Then we have 3 of them with some police officers that did stop by, but she's highly connected, especially the lawyer. This and you're going to see some video that's going to really share and show how this woman is she feels that she can just do what she wants to do.
So I see on one of these cards, it's underlined the non-emergency number. Were y'all directed to call that number instead of calling 911? Yeah. Even though y'all were being harassed in your own household and you're in the place that you live, the cops told you it's not an emergency and not to bother them. Absolutely. That's sad.
So now if that was one of us doing it to one of them, do you think they would have said call the non-emergency line?
No, you would have been having to call your lawyer because you would have been locked up.
Well, I don't have a lawyer because I'm poor. But let's get into this story. Since February 16th, you and your husband and son moved into this neighborhood. Absolutely. And the first complaint went out on February the 16th. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was parking my truck in the back driveway, and Miss Wilson pulls up and says to me, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I live here." She was like, "Well, you can't." She said, "No." She said, "You're a rodent. You don't belong around here."
You're a what?
A rodent.
You're a rodent?
Yeah, she said, "You're a rodent. You ain't getting your money back. Your landlord don't have renter's license. You don't belong around here." And she slammed her gate and went in the house.
Wait a minute, a rodent? What kind of rodent are you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
So it started out, she basically out of nowhere, your landlord don't have a license to rent, I guess, and she as if she knows your business.
Yes, and when back then she was she slammed her door, so I walked around the front of the house, and that was the first incident.
Okay.
Then, like a couple of weeks later, I put a new gate on the back fence, and I was walking to my truck in the morning, and that's when she was taking pictures of me and my dog walking. Mm-hmm. I tried to put my phone on record, but my dog was pulling me, and that's when she approached me, "You lifeless piece of shit."
Stop there for a second. Let's see this clip. Everybody look at this clip.
Oh, there you are. I've missed you so much. Oh, hi. Are you going into your house? The house that you rented?
Look.
Oh, look. You have someone else living there. Oh, my God. Look at that. The city will be notified tomorrow, you piece of shit!
So we see on that video that she basically called you what you said.
A lifeless piece of shit.
And I see you enjoy that word, but with all honesty and sincerity, I don't want to make too much jokes out of it because this is not even funny. So you were walking your dog, you were trying to record her.
No, that's the second time.
Oh, it's the second time.
That's the third time. The first 2 times we didn't have cameras up. We just moved in.
Okay.
And then the third time was when I was walking my dog. She didn't know I was walking, and she came out her front door to me, "Hey, I missed you so much."
Yes, we just saw it on the video.
And then that's when me and my wife called the cops.
Okay.
And that's when the black cop came and the white cop.
Did you get their names?
Officer Brown, and I forget the other.
The other cop didn't give us his name. He made Officer Brown do all the paperwork.
He made Officer Brown. Was Officer Brown the black cop?
Yes.
Okay, I understand. They don't want to mess up from the neighborhood club.
And he lives in the neighborhood on top of.
That's what he said.
The black officer or the white officer?
The white officer said he lived in the neighborhood.
Oh, okay. So okay, I understand. I'm not even going to go too far. All right, go ahead.
So then after that, she would come out. She comes outside like I was in the yard working. I had my little Bluetooth speaker fixing the deck. She blasts her music. Okay, so then, like last week, me and my wife and my son were sitting out back talking about school and stuff to my son, and she comes home and puts her Bluetooth speaker outside, turns it up real loud, so we can't talk. So I told her, let's go out front. So we went out front. She came out with her flowers and left her water running. Excuse me, where people was walking by looking like, what the hell? I guess he thought I was going to go over there and cut the water off, but I wasn't going to, you know what I mean? So that was the last incident I had with her. And then Jody, 2 weeks ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, jumped on top of my truck because I was working. So I know you're fixing your deck, but can you turn the effing music down?
And you had your music up?
Yeah, it wasn't loud. It's a little Bluetooth speaker.
It was at 8:20. That's when Officer Silva came out. That didn't do a report, but said if there was any other issues to give him a call, he would come out. Said that we should have let her come through the gate, so then it would be considered trespassing. But mind you, you're in our driveway. This is legally our property. It's our driveway. It's not the city street. Mm-hmm. It's our driveway.
Do you know what type of speaker it is?
It's a Milwaukee Bluetooth.
Okay.
And go ahead. And you said he said the officer said you should have let her come into
the gate. You should have let her come through the gate. Well, we heard her banging and knocking on the gate. We just ignored them. We didn't say anything. It's about 8:20. It's not after the city's ordinance code, which is 10 o'clock, which he verified between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. You're allowed to play music. The sun had just went down. They were wrapping up from finishing the work that they were doing. And she took it upon herself. I went to say something, and he's like, no, let me handle it. And I'm like, enough is enough. So we let that go. But it has been ongoing. February 17th, went into Wilmington Police Station physically, because after she ran out the backyard gate on him, I had to leave from work in Newark to come into Wilmington to make sure that my husband wasn't going to do anything. Because at this point, he's livid. They initially never said anything to me. They would always address him. One of the officers asked that when they came out, Officer Brown and the other officer said, well, does they say anything? No, they never say anything to me. They always say it to my husband. So I'm like, just calm down. Don't respond. So
I don't think Kobe, if you don't mind if I just jump over to Kobe real fast, I don't think that it is hard to discover that Eli is Latino. I don't think that's hard to discover, right. And I'm certain why they're doing that. They're eyeballing. First, they ain't going to do it to a woman as much because if she decides to swing on her or whatever, certainly she would be wrong still. But it won't be to the same level if he reacted. And he being a person of color, then it's just, for those of you who watch this, what I'm trying to make sure you clearly are understanding is that the racism that is happening with Miss Woshin, who is an attorney in a law firm that represents a lot of people. There are a lot of attorneys who won't even take this case because there is some connection they have with her firm. But believe it or not, she is a former assistant district attorney. And you want to know why so many of your children probably sitting in jail? Because it is a hidden racism that is going on. How can a woman of her status act like she's acting? We've shown you videos already and have more. But that doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
It's sad. It's really sad, especially just how we talked about the healthcare implementations. There's an issue with our criminal justice system. And it's people that act like this and have these biases, right, that they let spill over. So much where you're now coming out your own house, right, your own place of comfort, just to harass someone else.
Yeah.
Just to film, to pull your phone out to film. Not just come out. She waited.
Yeah.
You see that, and she waited for you to come back with your dog. just to harass you. That's really sad.
And you see how nice, nasty she was. Hi, I'm good to see you. I mean, it was just egregious, if I can use that term. How nice, nasty she was, and for her to, and you know what? I'm starting, and you filed several police reports. No one can help you. As soon as they decide to retaliate, they go to jail. Unacceptable. Womanton, I need for you to understand that this is inappropriate. But by her mother begging her to come and have a conversation with me, this is how I found out about it. And I wanted to use any media I have to be able to dedicate it. Normally during the source, we do all kind of news from around the city. But today we're going to focus on this, and we're going to talk more about the details of this case, because the harassment, the racism, it has to stop. We'll be right back. And we're back. Today we're discussing 1800 block of Delaware Avenue, which is in the 8th District. And we're going to share with you some of the people we've reached out to as well. But we're really infuriated with the level of racism and as well as harassment that is being done by this attorney and her buddy, one working in the Christiana Care, it's still Christiana Care, isn't it? And the Christiana Care system, as well as this attorney. And I even called the attorney's office today. And as soon as I told them what my issue was and how I needed to speak to the head principal, they made it very clear that I can go to her voicemail, but she's the only person I can speak with, which shares with me that she really knows that she can get away with whatever she's doing. Miss Therese, let me let you do in your own words, because I know people are probably wondering, no, Pastor, let her talk. Let her share her story. So let me just give you the opportunity to share without me jumping in what has occurred.
Basically racism. It's no other way to put it. It's racist. We don't bother anybody. We go to work like everybody else. Do 8, 10, 12-hour days, come home, pick the kid up, take him home. We sit down, try to have dinner, try to have a nice time. Son doesn't want to go outside. There's a park around the corner where he could be fine and play and not have to worry about violence or anything. Well, unfortunately, he has to worry about racism. It's sad because from the day we moved in until now, up until yesterday, it's consistent. It's gotten progressively worse. And at this point, you reach out to Wilmington Police. You do and follow the chains of command that you're supposed to. The council person, the president of city council, no response. My husband has reached out to the Nurse Journal. He's contacted different attorneys. Like you said, nobody will touch the case. So, when it's to the point where you have a child that is looking before he goes out the house in the morning, or when we're going in the house at night, or when it's time to go to bed, you can't be at peace in your own home because you have someone who consistently harasses you and think that they're above the law. However, if it was my husband and I, we would have been locked up. We would have been locked up, and it wasn't nothing that anyone could say or do. And we probably would have a ransom bail. And now she's drawing her other buddy in, and she thinks that she can get away with it too. So, I mean, like you said, my mom begged me to come talk to you, but at this point, enough is enough. We've reached out to the news stations and so forth as well, but we've done nothing. We've spoken to several different people, sent out emails and all of that. I recently started sharing today on social media because I'm kind of a private person. I reach out to my mentors, explain what's going on, try to talk my husband into keeping his cool, because this is what they want us to do to get a reaction. However, when you say something to my kid, you poke the bear.
Yeah.
So
we saw that in one of the videos. As a matter of fact, we're gonna play that video for you right here, and we just want you to see this, because what you're getting ready to see is the woman was just Miss Therese was trying to tell her, not my child, not my child. You messing with me, okay, my husband, okay, but not my child. He's a minor. He's 14 years old, and for her to stoop that low and even lie on him and try to, it's just unnecessary. I want you to see this.
my child about anything.
No,
That's what you're not going to do.
Oh, really?
You're not going to say anything to my child.
Whatever I want to say.
Okay, well, you stay right there.
No, you don't. You're not allowed to radio.
I don't want you to be afraid of
whatever
him.
he is.
But you're not going to say anything to my child.
No,
you're not ever going to address my child.
Keyed my fucking
my
car.
husband didn't touch
you guys
your car.
don't obviously
Whatever.
You get video. You get video. Your husband threatened. Your husband. Wait.
Go in the house, fish.
No, your husband
in the house. She's not going to do anything to you. Your husband.
Go in the house. Child.
Go in the house.
Your husband called me a cunt and threatened to fuck
this
up my
lady, girl just came out the house earlier and said something to say on.
No, your husband threatened
to police came down here yet, but that's alright. I just called my cousin.
Your husband threatened.
And I done called
your husband threatened to fuck up my car, which he did, and he called me a cunt. So we have a big problem. Our marketing, because there's obviously a problem.
Yup, so is my other cousin. And I'm waiting for my other cousin from the county police too.
You're calling the cousin. I don't care about your cousin to police when your husband or whatever he is threatens to mess up my car and calls me a cunt and then my car's messed up. So I'm calling the cops right now too.
I don't know.
So I'm calling the cops right now. Your husband threatened to fuck up my car, and he did. And called me a cunt, which is that normal?
She came outside and said something to my car.
I said thank you to your daddy for messing up my car. We're not, like, stop. Your husband threatened to mess up my car, and now my car's messed up. I'm not afraid of you for calling the cops. I'm calling them right now. I didn't call a family member to beat it. I don't have any family in the state. I don't have any family in the state. Your husband called me a cunt and threatened me.
Yeah. She's calling me some police and I'm threatening to beat her.
We're back. Even as I look at the video, I get more and more infuriated with the fact that you have to live in these conditions. And my word to you is not to quit and say, I'm going to move on. But this is what they want you to do. They want you to react. Because if you react, she already knows the law. She almost knows how far she can go, but I don't think she knew you had this much cameras going on, where we can expose her to the community that, racism is going on. I reached out to, City Councilman Fields today, Kobe, and he did answer. No, he called me right back and when I told him what my issue was, he immediately found a way to get off the phone right away. Tell her to give me a call, and I said, well, she's here. Well, I'm doing something and I can't really speak with anyone right now. That's a problem. No one wants to touch this. Mm-hmm. Why is that so?
It's sad. I think honestly, y'all did the right thing contacting the police. Y'all tried to get the reports filed with them. I think they need to file for a restraining order against both their neighbors.
And they said that unless charges are pressed, we're not able to.
Well, if you got 5 complaints, you got camera video. Well, you got 3 that's written out, 2 that was not. When is the arrest going to occur?
Welcome to Wilmington, Delaware.
Now, I don't want to be welcome if that's the way Wilmington is, but this is, for those of you, you're saying, well, this is what happens all the time. It shouldn't happen. This is not right. Both of you are working. You're trying to raise your son. You're trying to give him the best life possible.
Why did they say you can't press charges?
Oh, good.
They said it wasn't harassment. It was borderline. It's the gray area.
So, and on the Wilmington police are lawyers now?
Did they see any of this video stuff?
They have. I've sent videos to 2 of those officers. The only one that didn't take the video was Potts last week.
So Brown got it, Potts did not, and Downing's got it.
Yes.
Oh.
Absolutely.
And then when your mother and you were here talking to me earlier today, she was sharing with me that y'all went down there to do a report, and y'all don't even know where that report is.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you help me out to understand what your mother was talking about with that?
So my husband and I, when I left work that morning, we went to the police station after she approached him outside in a hostile manner, like a crazy animal. I left work, came into Wilmington, went to the police station. We sat there for how long? Like almost 2 to 3 hours.
4 hours.
And we did not get a card or anything.
Wow.
And he went in late and I left work. I normally leave out very early in the morning, so my day starts at 4 a.m. every day. So at 7:29, I have to come back into the city to deal with this.
Wow. Who do you report to? What's the chief name?
Campos.
So, do you think that maybe we need to try to get a conversation with Campos to find out why his police officers feel that this is not harassment and should not take a?
Not only him, but I would be interested in hearing what the sector captain for that area has to say.
Do you know who that is?
I spoke to Campos yesterday, right?
Uh-huh.
And his exact words was, "My captain's he's not in right now. He's coming back Thursday, I believe." So then I guess he reached out to his captain. Supposedly they're investigating. I just told him, like, when I left the police station from going down there yesterday, he said, I'm tired. At the end of the day, I work, bust my ass every day.
Mm-hmm.
Come home to this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
you said that to him?
Yes.
Okay.
And I reached out to Trippy before. That's why Trippy gave him my number and he called me. I said, I'm tired.
Yeah. Hold on for 1 second, Eli. I just want to listen. I understand I'm a pastor, but listen, this is serious. This is too serious to be worried about language. And the reason why I say it is I can feel sometimes people say, well, why did he say that? Because he's tired. That's why he said it. Mm-hmm. He's tired. And you reached out to several people. You see, you reached out to Trippy, and what happened?
He told me to keep cool and everything. He said he had talked to somebody, and then Campos called me from his phone. Mm-hmm. And then when on my way there, when they approached my wife and my son, then I called him back. I said, "Come on," and we've been called the police. And I said, "But if I smack one of them, mm-hmm. They're gonna have 50 cops out there."
Yeah. Yeah, 50. They're gonna have the whole. Exactly. They're gonna have the whole world. They're the army.
Yeah. So his words were, "They're investigating. I heard about the matter. I'm just tired."
We're gonna stay on this. Even though we got a little bit more we want to cover on this, but we're gonna stay on this because I want to ask the questions to the police department at this point. Where are you at? And I've already set up some interviews with the News Journal where we're gonna make sure the state know. Everybody, it's got to be exposed because we don't have enough money or resources to be able to deal with this woman and her friend because they are well connected. So the only way we can do it to keep you calm is to say, let's just keep exposing it. And we hope that those who are not racist will say, you know what, this is unfair. And we're going to start with the Latino chief of police. That's where I'm going to start. Because if he is true to all men being equal, being that he's in that high, powerful position, then he's going to have to put the money where his mouth is now. And I need to understand how come no one has been arrested. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5, but there's still some you have not gotten anything after y'all was sitting down there for 4 hours. How can this be in Wilmington?
Right.
How can this be? And then we move it a little bit further. The lady was saying in one of the videos that I was looking at, she was walking, well, I guess this was she was jumping on your truck. She was walking right parallel with you. The gate was separating y'all, but the cameras were able to show it. There was no real sound in it. But what was she saying to you?
Well, she just told me, turn the effing music down. I gotta go to work in the morning. And I said to her,
"He's talking about yesterday with Natalie."
Yeah, it was Natalie.
Oh, now she was just staring at me, and I was talking to my son.
No, I saw something in the backyard.
Me and him I was walking to my car.
Okay.
I parked my car in the back.
Oh, in the back. Okay.
So she hurried up and ran out her door and was staring at me through the gate. And I looked at her, and my son was like, "There she go right there." I said, "I ain't thinking about that woman." Mm-hmm. Kept walking.
Okay.
She didn't say nothing to me. When I opened to the gate, she just gave me the 30th look.
Yeah. Why does she think? Is there some issue she may have with your? I don't know if you have a landlord or not. I'm just going off of what she said.
So we don't have a landlord.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
It's his coworker.
Okay.
When we got married, she allowed us to save her money to purchase her home.
I understand.
Which is really, we don't have to explain that to anybody.
Nobody. That's right.
So whatever the bad blood is between her and the homeowner, we don't know the full story. However, the homeowner saying she didn't know that she was like that. Okay. The homeowner has tried to reach out, has contacted several lawyers of her own. She knows some connected people that I know and has had mutual conversations, and cannot put her finger on it either. However, I don't know. It's almost like because the house had been vacant for so many years, she feels as though that, it's her property or she wants the property. I don't know.
I know what it is. I mean, you can't put your finger on it, so she doesn't want y'all black people living there, or colored people.
Physically said that, so we know that part of it. So you don't belong here.
Way before we moved in, the landlord, Priscilla, hired these contractors. Contractors came in to do the work. They left everything. They didn't even want. She ran them right out of there.
Who ran them out?
That.
Oh Lord.
Told, and they was Mexican. Told Miss Priscilla, I don't even want my money back. They left the wood there. I mean, where the city was, people was complaining because the backyard trees was growing. So when I went there, I cleaned everything up, cut everything down. Me, my wife, my nephew, and we've been good after that. I've had she's verified with the city. I've had plenty complaints where
she's made false accusations with the city.
I know the code.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've been doing this all my life, and I don't need no permits or nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing nothing structural.
Okay.
So that's every time she sees me doing something at the house, she calls it. She calls it. Mm-hmm. She emails whoever she's emailed. I talked to Boykin, Eve Davis,
Finney,
and Mr. Finney, which is the inspector. That's his area.
Have the city come out and give you any citations?
No.
Absolutely not.
But has the city come out?
Yes.
At her complaint.
Yes.
At her complaint.
Yes.
So
harassment.
So far as told, I won't reveal my source, but a city inspector had said to me, be careful. I understand that you're there and some things are going on, where I physically seen complaints and emails from her and Mr. Fields. So this is not a third. I physically seen the email. However, that person couldn't give it to me, and then also said, watch what you do, watch your family, tell your husband, keep cool. In this area, it can cost you your life. So why should I feel captive in my own home?
That's you said Mr. Fields. Are you talking about the city council person?
Yes, Nathan Fields.
So this woman, based on your source, this woman has communicated with the city council person, and basically they're in cahoots together. That's probably why he wanted her to get off the phone with me. And they're telling you to watch your back because they're really trying to find a way to get you.
Absolutely. And after this last night, the camera picked up a fire marshal keep circling the back of the house all the way till like 6 a.m. this morning. So wow. Definitely is not a good thing. You shouldn't be a prisoner in your own home. That should be my sacred place. We shouldn't have to deal with this.
You know the term squatter?
Yes.
Okay. When we come back, we're going to talk about squatters, okay? Because maybe that's what y'all issue is. Y'all may be squatters. I don't know. We'll be right back. And we're back. I left the last segment just to ask a question whether or not they ever heard of the term squatter, because, a lot of times, especially Caucasian folks, they like to believe that, you couldn't afford or you shouldn't be living in a certain neighborhood, so you must be just squatting there. Do you know what a squatter is?
Absolutely.
Are y'all considered as squatters?
No, not at all.
Okay. Have you ever been called that?
Yes, I have.
Okay, by
the lady next door. She put a complaint into the city, said we ain't had no water, we squatting there and all that.
Wow.
So they came out.
Now,
and I was at work when they came.
So we can verify that
they came out after hours. Not during the city hours.
Wow.
During 8 to 4 o'clock.
You know what time they came out?
8:30 something
at night. That's an emergency call.
She called the emergency line and sent the emergency email to Boykin.
It's really funny when a person get beat up or robbed, it takes 3 days for the cops to come. Mm-hmm. And the city didn't hardly respond to anything, but they can come after hours to see whether or not you all are squatters.
Do you know who came to your house? Did you get documentation of that?
Finney. He did not. He left a card. Remember?
Who's Finney?
Inspector Finney. I don't know.
With L&I?
Yes.
Okay. That's good enough. All right. So he came out, and what did they say to y'all? Do y'all remember the conversation?
I wasn't there. I was working.
Okay.
He was still at work. My son and I were getting ready to go to bed. And I was in the shower, and my son said, somebody's at the door. So I said, well, don't go to the door. So I go downstairs, look out the curtain, see the city stuff on. He's like, hi, I'm from the city of Wilmington. I'm an inspector. Can I talk to you? And I said, hold on, let me put something on. So I put something on, and my son and I stood out on the front porch. He was like, I'm sorry to bother you this late. We got a complaint. And I'm like, at this time, he was like, well, the complaint was sent to my boss that you guys are squatting here. Nobody's supposed to live here. The house is abandoned. There's no water. I said, my hair is wet. I just got out the shower. We don't have water. So he seen the lights on. And he seen, because my son was nervous about everything that took place prior to, so now he sees him there. He's like, look, I'm not going to bother you any further. It's late. You're good. Just have the homeowner give us a call, or have your husband give us a call tomorrow. And I said, all right, I will. He left his card and left.
Did anybody ever get back to them?
Yeah, we got back to them. My husband talked to him. The homeowner talked to him, and this has been consistently up until last week or so.
Like about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
so numerous complaints to where the city had kept calling my husband. They would call me, and I'm like, in my line of duty, I can't have my phone on all the time. So they eventually stopped calling, and said that, at this point, there's no valid proof to any of her complaint. Everything that she tried to complain about has been wiped away. Because everything.
But Kobe, can't the police say she's doing all of this to them? They can verify that there's no validation in what she's doing. Plus, we got the video of her cussing at them, calling them names. Why is there not considered a harassment?
They should be able to take action. This is it's not borderline harassment, it's flat out harassment. What they're probably saying is there's no damage done, right?
Until you smack her.
Correct.
Then it's
There's been no assault, there's been no damage to property, or has there, right? Has your property been damaged at all?
Today, my ladders were stolen off my truck.
In the 8th district?
Yeah.
Somebody stole something in the 8th district. So that means we know they had to have done.
Went in my truck and took my bag with my firearm in it.
Oh.
Did you report that?
No, I gotta go and get all my paperwork out my bin because I don't want to give them the wrong serial number.
Is it illegal?
No, it's registered to me.
Okay, very good. I had to ask those questions because I can see people who are critics.
Yeah.
They probably had, because we can't do anything.
Registered to me.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So make sure you do that, because if somebody used that gun for a wrong reason.
I told the cop yesterday.
Okay, very good.
They took my ladder.
It appears that y'all are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing. They so used to Sinead, you would have probably knocked her head off the first day. But y'all are doing the right thing, trying to be decent, abiding citizens, and you're being pushed to the edge of breaking. This is unfair. This is unfair.
It's almost as if they want us to quit and to just move.
Oh,
so
no,
that
you can't
they
do
win.
that.
That's what it seems. So you either want a reaction out of us, or you want us to move. So it's their way. You started out with the harassment, then you went to L&I. Now you're making accusations that we did this and that. We don't say anything to you. We don't bother you. We don't. One of my children, my oldest son, he comes every now and again. He won't even bring my grandson there because of the harassment.
My kids don't even want to come over.
So because of this, we can't have company on a regular basis because we never know what they're going to walk into. And everybody's not as calm as us. We have folk that don't.
Well, I met you this morning. You weren't this calm. You calmed down. I'm glad you calmed down because you were not happy this earlier today.
No.
But I appreciate your professionalism, though. Both of you.
Thank you.
One of my mentors always said, if you quit, they win.
Mm-hmm.
If you give a reaction, they win.
Yeah.
So I keep it in the back, but in the forefront of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Work too hard, lived through racism in the city of Wilmington was bused in the suburbs to go to school. However, did I think that it would exist now? No. Did I think that I would be going through it now? No. And I look at it, I have sons, I have males who statistically they should be either dead or in jail.
Mm.
And this is one of the women that have probably put our minorities either in jail or
Compromise them so they can go. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why every chance I get to express the racism that we are confronted with, I try to highlight it. You had an opportunity. I think both of you had an opportunity to try to have a conversation with the Attorney General. I think it's Jennings.
Jennings.
Jennings. Tell me about that interaction, please.
Get there, get buzzed in the door. First, I call twice and tell me that I need to email the information through. So everybody has said email. So of course you follow the chain of command, email, explain to them via phone, this is what's going on. So then I take it a step further. I'm going to the state building in person. Go to the state building in person and was told, oh, she can't see you. She handles the entire state. You have to email. Didn't I speak to you this morning? So my mentor says, ask her what's her name. May I have your name? Operator 11.
Is that how they do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't deal with those folks.
So, and I get it. You know, you might not want to give your name. She just said Operator 11. I respected that, and I went ahead.
And you keep that record, so if you do want to file a complaint against the operator, that's her identifier.
Right, absolutely. So I understood what she was saying, but to tell me that no one in the Attorney General's office could sit down and take my complaint. Look, miss, I've been following several police reports. I've been doing what I needed to do, put in the complaint with the office of disciplinary. I did everything within my power. The harassment has gotten worse. Now they're saying stuff to my kid. Like, I need to speak to somebody. Unfortunately, you have to send it in email. I'm like, okay. So I left. Called my husband. Hey, another roadblock. They're not willing to see us. We have to send it an email.
Well, we are going to reach out to the Attorney General because this has to be filed there. Because it needs to be filed with the police too. And I mean, the police needs to do something. But I'm going to make sure that we get you in front of the right people in order to file this harassment. She's not going to get away with this. And anyone who knows me know it's not going. I don't sell my people out. She's not going to get away with this. But I want to jump back for a second, Kobe. I mean, this is a policy issue. If you don't have the answer, we got to get the answer to it. And that is, our tax dollars were spent to send someone out on overtime. Now, if an inspector comes out, I don't know this Fleming person that she said, is this person on the clock or is this person a salaried person?
So it depends on his actual job.
Right.
He may be on call 24/7 and work the regular 9 to 5 time period, but on call for emergency. So if it was deemed an emergency at a household, that could qualify.
But listen to the charges they said. They said no water. Okay, can't that wait until the morning? The house is not on fire. No electric. Can't that wait until the morning? Show me the emergency in that.
Yeah. So inspectors, they do have some inspectors who are on call when there are fires, right? If it was a break-in and now a house that was vacant is now deemed
right.
North Adams Street, right? That was after hours. That type of stuff.
Okay.
Now, if it's usually no water, they'll usually check their own logs to see if the water shut off. They may send someone out to check the water, but they usually do that during the day. For the lights, I'm pretty sure Delmarva, it's just a call to Delmarva.
They got an on call for the water.
How do you feel?
Yeah, they have an on call for the water department already. So for an inspector to come out, it's usually only for like I said, emergency, right? There was a fire at someone's house. They have to come in. It could have been a small fire, but they got to deem it if it's still safe for people to go back in that night. If it's a major fire, you already know you can't go back in.
L&I is under under Commissioner Starkey. Am I correct?
No, so
Boykins.
Boykins is
Okay,
now.
I'm going to give him a call. That's another call. I wrote down all the people I'm giving a call to. I want to know who called him that he had to commission his person to go out. Because we got too many African American people, too many Latino people in powerful positions that are allowing this type of behavior to happen, enabling people to do the racism thing. And Boykins is a good guy for real. I do like him, but I'm not going to play this game. Here you have a family who work hard. They're not asking for a handout. You said you even came in, the brothers who were doing some work. They were so frustrated with this woman. They just left it.
Left the material there, told her we don't even want the money or the
They didn't
material.
come.
So you came in and then you just went on and fixed all the things that need to be fixed. You added value to the community, and this woman feels like she owned it, and you don't deserve to be living in her neighborhood.
Absolutely.
The 2000s. This is what 2023.
23.
True.
Because white supremacy ain't never go nowhere.
White supremacy. What is that? I'm not, you know what? I like to joke a lot on the show because I like to make sure, because it keeps you from being too angry. But I want to, turn our attention to one thing. And Kobe, if you want to say something about this, you can, but I'm just going to grab it. We have not talked about one element that is very much being affected. We have a 14-year-old boy. Excuse me for using the word boy. All right. We have a 14-year-old child. We don't know what's running through his head. His life matters. And for us to believe that, it's not fair.
Mhm.
His mother and father has put him in a position where he can have a healthy life. Yet he's thrown into, one of the videos showed him, he was so angry because one of the two women they were saying certain things while his mother was trying to defend him. He's going to take it off his shirt. How do you square this up? For those of you who are watching, and I know I have critics who watch this show too, and all of you politicians, all of you black folks and according to the list that she gave me, you said you reached out to, you said the NAACP.
Yes.
Which chapter did you look at, the state or the local?
Both.
Okay. You reached out to Channel 6, you reached out to the News Journal, you reached out to the Attorney General's office. Have you reached out to the mayor's office?
No, we never even.
Okay. Yeah, but Boykins is under his office. We're going to reach out to him anyway. And they're doing everything in their power. Miss Torres was at wit's end, and she said, "I'm just done." Her mother begged her, "Let's just have a conversation with Pastor Curry." She comes in, and I try my best to just give people another option, but we just get frustrated sometimes. But that 14-year-old young man, he has to suffer through this in silence because he can perpetrate like it's all good, but we shouldn't treat his life any different than that other Caucasian 14-year-old who's so gingerly that if you say good morning the wrong way, he falls apart. This is unfair. This is unfair. Now don't have to have any sympathy on the mom. You don't have to have any sympathy on the dad. But you have to look at the fact that racism is affecting their 14-year-old child. He has to turn and watch his back. He can't even take the trash out without being harassed. This is unfair. Wilmington, we got to do better. We got to do better. And I want to give you an opportunity, both Mr. and Mrs. Torres, and I appreciate you even talking to me. And this is not your last time talking to me. I think we're going to throw you on the Curry Show, a Coffee with Curry Show next week, because we're going to get some updates on where we are and where we are. Because I'm not going to let this go until y'all get justice, so that other people will see if you handle it the right way and you find some African American or just people who is willing to hear your case and fight with you. Until that happens and they see it as a result, it'll stop some of these people from thinking they can do what they want to do, because she is just wrong. She's an attorney. She knows the law. She knows the rules.
That's why she's doing what she's doing. She sees the gray area. She's playing it.
She done crossed it. She crossed. She crossed when she cussed you all out, when she walked into this man's face and one of those videos, and she basically said good morning, act like she was so friendly with him, and then start calling him names, and she even said ain't no water on in there. So we heard her say these things, and she's high and falutin in that attorney field. How's your son doing? I'm gonna stop there, then we'll be done for the day.
Like you said, he pretends that everything's all right. I have to give him the talk that in these instances, let us as adults handle. I understand that you're furious too. because you can't do the normal things that you were starting to do, but go outside by yourself, ride the bike, and go to the basketball court and be okay with it. Now it's back to him looking, like you said, looking over his shoulder or peeking out the door, or like, I'm going to go to the park, or are you coming outside? Like, even last night, he didn't want to go back in the house. Even after the police came, he was sitting there, like, terrified.
Mhm.
So it's sad because it does affect him in the long run. And he's not really outspoken on his emotions all the time. So how does it affect him? We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And just keep iterating to him, if you hear him, just keep going. Don't feed it. And he's not dumb, but at the end of the day, you can't react to the ignorance of someone else.
Right. But being 14 is very difficult to be able to put up with this because dad is older than 13. You about what, 15? But and he's ready to just snap. And I sensed that when I first saw you, and I think you have every right to, but we're going to try our best to work and see how we can get some justice so that you can see that there are people who really genuinely care and that you have a right to take care of your family and live wherever your money allows you to live. Listen, it's been an unfortunate but yet joy having you all here today. We're going to continue this conversation on next week, but we're just going to come right back with just Kobe and I, but we'll be right back.
You don't live over there. You live down there. Now Natalie's telling her to come on her porch.
It's weird to give like 10 neighbors on my porch.
Yeah.
My porch. It's just really weird to have 10 neighbors. I'm like, I've lived here for years, and now your husband threatened me.
Now still saying Eli threatened her and all
He
this
did
other
threaten me. He
crap.
called me a cunt, and
The same one that jumped on his vehicle, came on her property and jumped on the back of his
There's no
pickup.
property. It's Delaware Avenue. That's not property. And I feel sad because I was trying to be nice to you.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's a shame. And
you need to leave the alcohol alone.
what are you talking about? Do I have any liquor
Go in
in
the
my
house,
hands?
baby.
Do I have any liquor in my hands?
Go in the house and shut the door.
Do you have electricity?
Do you have electricity? What happened to you that you act that way in your life? Hold on.
It's every address Delaware Avenue. No.
And then they're both trying to gang up and say stuff. Now they're walking down the street like enough is enough. Natalie Walsh and the other lady at 1809 named Jones. Yo, where are you at?
There's two cops sitting in CVS parking lot.
So,
On Delaware Avenue.
go in the house. So both of the neighbors, the one that's been harassing us and the other one just ran out of the house on us. Yeah. Yes, it's 2 cameras here. Yep. And there go the same detective that's friends with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same detective. As soon as my mom and my son leave, they come out the house.
Ridiculous to have music this loud. Like, seriously, I've been hearing your dying mind. Get fixing up the house. Without music, that
And we're back. Well, Kobe, it's an unfortunate situation that's going on. The Terezes, they try to do good and do right, and they find themselves in the heart of a racism situation.
Yeah.
What are we to do?
It's sad that, because this person is connected with the legal field here, in the health field, that they can't get the resources they need. This is what we as minorities have been going through, not just, these last few months for them, but this has been a continuous thing, not just in the city of Wilmington, but all over this nation this is handbook, textbook white supremacy and the benefits that their white counterparts get when they're making calls. They're getting responses.
Yeah.
Their councilmen sending out stuff.
Yeah.
The cops are coming out. The inspectors are coming out. But when in turn, the tourists are now calling, asking for them to come handle their neighbors, it's nothing. That is extremely sad, but it is reflective of this administration, and it's reflective of what council is allowing as well too, as certainly certain council members. And it's very disappointing to hear that Councilman Fields is scared to talk to them, but yet advocating on Natalie's behalf.
Yeah, behind their backs.
Behind their backs.
Yeah, and it's funny because I talked to him directly. He didn't know who he was calling back, but he did call me back. And when I had him on the phone and told him who I was, that's when he had to hurry up and go. But it was another thing that she didn't get a chance to share, and I wanted to share this with you too. What you just shared that goes in line with it. The Office of Disciplinary Counsel, which is the bar people, she called them too and sent them a letter, and they sent her back a letter. And I'm going to show next week on the show the letter they sent her back, and basically saying that this is not really considered as harassment. And all the information that we're kind of sharing today is what she tried to share with them, but she is so well connected that I guess she feels she can do what she wants to. And when you keep saying that word white supremacy, that's what white supremacy is. They are supreme, so they get a chance to do what they want to do, and they are right. And that's just so.
The only thing that's changed is they've taken off their hoods now.
Wow.
And they're freely out in the open, and it's sad that we still have to deal with this, and there's still people who are upholding that system as well too.
Yeah, and I want to know from the city, why are you using our tax dollars and somebody out there in the middle of the night?
Right.
I mean, this woman is petrified. Her son is petrified. I want to know from the chief. You're a Latino brother. Your brother was in need. Why are you letting this happen, Chief? And then people want to know, and I think there needs to be more people like me and you who's willing to use their platform to highlight things like this.
Yep.
This is ridiculous, and I'm just very annoyed with it. So next week we're gonna try to. We may have our regular show on next week. We may not. I don't know. But whenever there's a news break like this, I don't care whether it's this family or some other family. We're going to go ahead and just cover it, and hopefully that it will get some traction. And I hope the News Journal will pick it up as I'm hearing they will be, and I'll be able to investigate what is going on. Is there anything else on your plate for today?
That's all on my plate.
Well, listen, it's been a joy and a privilege just being with you today, even though it was under unfortunate terms. But I do hope and trust that you all got the heart of what we were trying to do with the Therese family. They deserve to live in peace. They deserve to live without racism, and they deserve not to be treated as if they are lower people. Until the next time we get together, this is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
See ya.
Take care, y'all.
For tuning in to this episode of The Source. Be sure to tune in next Sunday at 5 p.m.